welcome to Adding a Listing to Command Explained. What we're going to do today is go through the process of uploading your brand new listing to our Market Center and Deal Administrators so that they have all the paperwork and you can get it onto MLS and get the house sold. So the first thing we're going to do is make sure that your client that the listing is referring to is listed in your contact section on command. If you don't know how to add a contact, you can go check out our other video on adding a contact to command, and that will walk you through that process. Once you've got that done, come on back and we'll go through the next steps. So once you have your contact in, what you're going to do is come down here to the opportunities section on the command screen, and you're going to click on the opportunity. This is going to open into a new page, and you're going to see that there are different types of opportunities listed here. There's listings, there's buyers, there's leases, and then down at the very bottom, if you're interested, it gives you your ratio of properties, what type of deals you're doing, and when they're actually happening in your system. So there are two ways for you to add an opportunity into your system. The first thing is to make sure that you put it under the right category. Now, if you've already watched the opportunity video and you have your client already in the opportunity window, then what you're going to see is these little numbers down at the bottom. So we have one under active. So if I've already added that opportunity in and I'm just coming in to simply attach the paperwork, I can click on the little house right here, and it will take me in and show me that I have an opportunity here. And I can just simply click on that opportunity, and it's going to take me through to this screen that says the address, the information, and that's where my document link is going to be. I'm going to go back for a second, and to go back, I can just click up here in the left-hand corner on Sales Pipeline, and I'm going to show you if you are coming in and you're adding an opportunity for the first time because you don't have the opportunity created for the client previously, what you're going to do is come over here to the right-hand side and select Create Opportunity. That's going to open up this screen where you have to fill out the information regarding the property that you're creating an opportunity for. So for example, Keller Williams Realty Centers will stay the same. Now, if you're on a team, it's going to show your team name here. If you're not, it will just say your own name, or it will say me. So just make sure that that's accurate. The opportunity type is important. We need to make sure that for uploading our listing paperwork, we're selecting that it's a listing. And then the owner is going to show your name, or potentially it's going to show your Rainmaker's name on your team. Don't worry if it does. There's a step at the bottom to add yourself as the agent on file. The client name is the next step. So once you have your client added into your contacts, all you have to do here is start typing your client's name, and it will auto-populate anybody in your system that matches that name. So I'm going to select Dylan here as the seller. And then I don't have anybody linked to him currently, but if there was, for example, a spouse, they would automatically show up here. Now, if they don't, you can also just start typing their name, and it will auto-populate everybody in the system who has that name, and then I can just select that person so I have both people on file. The opportunity name of the listing is extremely important, so please make sure that you pay attention to this part. The file has to be named the address of the property. Okay, it cannot be your name, it cannot be your client's name. It has to be the address of the property, and I highly recommend adding the city as well, because some towns have the same name as others. So for example, a street in Bradford might have the same name as a street in Stouffville, and in order for the back end to be clear for the girls in the back, it's better to separate it this way. Okay, so make sure that you've named it the address of the property that you're planning to sell. Custom tags are not required in this section. You can put them in if you want. You could do something like seller or, listing, something along those lines, but you don't need to do it. Estimated close date is not required here. Estimated list price, you can put it in if you have it. If you don't, it's not necessary. But the commission rate is required. Now, the commission you want to put in here is just the commission on your side of the deal. So it would be the 2.5% in our case. And then this part, our opportunity phase, is just what phase of the process is your listing in. So for example, we're putting this listing on MLS, so I'm selecting active. It's an active listing. We're not at the appointment level. It's live. And then I'm also going to be selecting showing as where I'm at in the opportunity stage. Okay. Negotiations is for when you have an offer, and then legacy is once the deal is closed. Okay, so I'm going to put it under the showing section. Now, if you are on a team, down here at the bottom, it's going to show that this opportunity is assigned to me. So make sure that your name is here, or if you're an admin for a team, make sure whichever agent it's assigned to or whoever's listing it is, that their name shows up in this section. And once you've done filling that out, you hit create, and it's going to create that opportunity for this particular listing. Now, you're going to notice we've come back to the same screen that we were in before. So it shows the address, it shows the clients, and it shows the information about the property. What you're going to do is just make sure that everything is completed to the best of your ability. So for example, over here under the property information, I'm going to click this little pencil, I'm going to edit this, and then I'm going to fill out this information. So again, I'm just plugging in the address, and it will auto-populate it as I type. So once it shows up, I can just select that and it will fill out the rest, and I'm going to hit save, and now you're going to see that this section is filled out. Okay, everything else is all the information we've previously put in, and some of it is stuff we don't yet have. We don't have to worry about that yet. So once we've completed that task, the next step is to upload our documents. So what we're going to do here is go to the document tab right here at the top, and it's going to take us through to another new screen. Now this is our transaction section for this particular property. You'll notice right now this screen looks pretty blank. So the first thing that you have to do is come over here to the left where it says pick checklist type and click this arrow. This is going to give you the option to select what type of listing are we choosing. Is it residential, condo, commercial, and so on. We're going to click residential because that's what we're dealing with here. And once we click on that, you'll notice all of the required documents are going to populate here on the right hand side. Now, something else you need to note is that underneath this checklist tab, there are 3 different categories. We've got listed, under contract, and then closed. Because we're getting this listing on the market, we're going to be working under the listed category. If you had a deal on a listing, you would be under contract, and you'll notice it changes to deal paperwork. And then once the deal is closed, this is where you can find your open trade, your closed trade, and your EFT statements, okay? So we're focusing on listed right now. And what you're going to see is a list of all of the different probably and or potentially required paperwork for a listing. So what we have to do now is go onto our computer and add the files that we need to add in order to upload our paperwork to the deal admin and the front desk. Now, there's a couple of different ways you can do this, but first and foremost, please make sure that before you start this part of the process, you have all of your documents individually separated into files. So as you notice, it's listed as individual forms. Your documents need to be saved that way as well. So if you haven't done that yet, stop here, go back out, watch the video on how to do that, and then come back, do it for the deal that you're working on, and then come back in to this section, okay? Once you have that done and you're ready to upload, there's 2 different ways you can do it, as I mentioned. The first one is right here on the right-hand side where it says add a file. I can simply click on add a file, and it's going to give me the option to select manual and then drag and drop from my computer. Okay, so I'm going to click drag and drop or browse your files on my computer. Now when I open this up, it's going to give me access to all of my documents on my computer. So I'm going to go to wherever I have that file saved. So for example, for me, it's going to be in my Dropbox, and it's going to be under deals and listing paperwork. Now, the next step here is to just line up the file with the name of the document I am looking for. So this is the KWRC listing sheet. That's the first one. It says it right here at the top. So I'm just going to go through and find that file, and then I'm going to add that file right here, KWRC listing sheet, to this thing. So all I've done is checked it off and hit apply. Now I'm going to see here, it shows that it is attached, and then I can hit assign. And what's going to happen now is here on the right hand side, it will show you the document that you've attached. If you want to make sure if it's the right one, just click on it and it will show you a sample of the document so you can verify that you attached the right file. Okay? That's one way of doing it. You would just go through and do it for every single required piece of paperwork for this type of listing. Or alternatively, if you want to do it a little bit faster, Up here at the top where it says attach multiple files, you can click on that and it will list all of the files required here. And what I can do now is select this drag and drop or browse your files on my computer again, and it's going to take me back to where I need to be. I can drag this over here and see the names of each one, and I'm just going to go through and I'm going to select each file as required. So for example, MLS listing, if I haven't broker loaded yet, I don't have that yet, so I can't put it on here. If I have already broker load, I will have it and I'll be able to attach it. Okay. Amendment to listing agreement, well, that's optional, and you'll notice here underneath the name it's going to say whether it's optional or required, so you can go by that as well. If you don't have it because you didn't do an amendment, you don't need it. Okay, so don't worry, there's going to be forms on here that you don't need to have, and that's fine. Listing agreement is going to be a required file, so we're going to find that file, and I'm just going to come right up here, form 200, and I'm going to select listing agreement. Okay, now I'm going to open it, and now you're going to see I put it in the wrong spot. So great example of what not to do. If you want to remove it because you put it in the wrong spot, simply click this minus button on the right and it just erases it. Now I'm going to go back and click on the right box, and I'm going to add my listing agreement. The next step is the MLS data sheet. That is obviously also required. So we are going to go to form 290 and we're going to add that one as well. I'm going to just select, and I'm going to open it. Once you're done attaching all of the different required files in this section, I can just hit attach. And what's going to happen is they're all going to start to attach down here on the right hand side, and they'll just populate. Once they're all there and you have them in the right section, and you have all the forms that are required for you to broker load or submit the listing, then you're simply going to come up here to the top and hit submit to Market Center. And once I hit submit to Market Center, all of those files are going to go directly through to Deal Admin and to the front desk, who are then going to review everything, make sure it's accurate, input the showing instructions into the system, and then they're going to have all the information required for them. Now, a lot of people ask what happens if the paperwork isn't correct or you're missing some information. So I'm going to show you really quickly what that's going to look like. If I go back out to my sales pipeline, and this is just for the purposes of showing you wouldn't have to do this, and I open up this other file, I've submitted paperwork to this listing that is incomplete or inaccurate. So what you're going to see is that my status has changed to returned. And what that looks like is I have these rejected bars right here. So it's going to show that these 3 documents were rejected by the brokerage because they weren't complete. And then if you notice here, there's these little red bubbles, and that's their content for why it was rejected. Please up these documents to under category. I put this in the wrong location. This one is please up them to documents as well. So what I've done here is I've submitted my paperwork in the wrong spot, and the office has replied and said it is inaccurate. You're going to get that notice on your Kelly app. You're going to get that notice on command when you log in through this little bell. So that's what this looks like. Jacqueline Garrett has left a message for under contract in this section. And then it's telling me the information she's asking me about the property. If they were just wondering if it was an actual deal or not. So I can go in and respond to this and let them know, no, it wasn't. It was for training. Or you could update the reply and say, this is why it is this way or is not this way. But you will always get notified, whether it's through Kelly or whether it's through the command when you log in, that there has been an update or a note made. Now, the only other thing you need to know about is if there's a form that you have for a property that isn't in our list that the office provides to us, because sometimes that might happen. Doesn't mean you can't upload it. What you can do is go to add item here on the left-hand side. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to be able to name it. So maybe I'm going to say 104 Bilborough Street Survey, for example. And then I can select the document type. What type of document is it? Is it a lender, an inspection, a disclosure, contract, agreement, or addendum? Now in this situation, I'm probably just going to select either disclosure or other, but you can pick really any one you want as long as it makes sense. So I'm going to say other because I've named it survey. And then again, I could say survey of property if I wanted to. And then what I can do here is drag and drop or browse the file that I want to attach. So now I can come down, I can select the survey that I want to attach. Let's pretend that that's what that is. And then I can hit save. And that document now will get added down at the very bottom as a custom document, and it will say exactly what it is. Okay? And that's really it, guys. That's how to submit a listing transaction to the brokerage. Once you've submitted the paperwork, it will all go through to Deal Admin and then the front desk. Like I said, they will review it. They'll put your showing instructions into the system. You can go ahead and broker load your listing at this point. And then you can get your listing active and live on MLS and start having showings happen. Just make sure, keep an eye out for any notifications in case you get an update or a response from them that something is in fact incorrect. Okay? I hope that was helpful, and stay tuned for our next class coming up, which will give you more information on how to navigate Command. Have a great day.